All right, let's see here. Let's just give it a couple minutes here for people to join in and for the lag. I'm going to check on my own YouTube to see if I can see the streaming okay. There are a lot of pieces and moving parts to this, so it is quite interesting to experience. For the
Oh,
lag,
yeah.
I'm going to check on my own. Okay, it is like a 20-second lag. So, of course, this is not going to be censored for cussing. And so, I do sometimes let one drop every now and again, as do
Right.
you. So, let me see here. All right, we've got the chat. We've got Tiffany here. Tiffany's one of your
Hi,
followers, right?
Tiffany.
I'm going to have to move this closer because I can't reach to type. Hey, Kelly. All right, everyone gathering here for this live today. We're just having some preliminary conversation. Tiffany, can you or Kelly, can you let me know? Do you see both Althea and myself at the same time? It's going to be very interesting with the delay between the chat and the feed
Oh,
since we're going through.
why is there a
uh,
delay?
It's just the way Zoom, it takes it a while to get through to people since we're using an intermediary. Okay, Kelly says yes, she can see us both.
Okay, good.
Hi, Jasmine. Okay, everyone says everything. Oh, they say it's very clear. All right, and I'm seeing the chat. Yay. So we're just at about 3 o'clock now. So we're going to give it a few more minutes as we gather together today. I'm just super excited because this is a first for both of us, right, Althea?
Mhm. We are gathered here today. I
And
might get silly.
oh, hey, that's perfectly all right too. Hey, Tanya. All right, everyone is in the space to be. I'm going to make Tanya a moderator here. So if anybody gets unruly, give them the boot, Tanya. I know you have no problem with that. And I'm going to try to watch for questions and things that are in the chat as we proceed. We'll give it about one more minute here before we begin. This is really fun at this point, although it's been a little stressful leading up to it because this is very technology intense and we're growing ourselves through doing this. So, hey, Jackie, glad to see you all here. Of course, those who are personally connected to Soul Whisperer and myself, we are so appreciative of you showing up for this, for you all being down for whatever it is that we try to do. I know that I speak for both of us when we say we love you dearly, and it makes it so much more fun to get to do this with people who we love. So we've
I'm
got comments here, and I'll keep you up to date out there. We've got folks saying hello. Uh, I am Nuke
Fuji.
Puji. Yes, she said here. She says I'm honored to be in this space. We've got Jasmine, Love,
That-
Kelly,
That's
Tiffany,
my bestie.
Tanya.
Oh, Jasmine, meet Nuke Fuji.
So these are folks from your channel. So we're going to go ahead and get started because this is going to be a wild ride, and I don't think it's going to slow down or get any different than what it is here now. And I'm super excited. So my name is Joelle, and I am the Viberarian. I am here to elevate, enlighten, and empower. And I start that from the inside out. I am joined today by my soul sister, Althea, the Soul Whisperer. Althea, yay, welcome. Introduce yourself to the folks who don't know you.
Well, okay. You know, what I'm having is every time you say certain things, I'm getting songs popping in my head. So I've already heard, I don't know if it's Brandy, I want to be down. That night, that, and then the Soul Train just came in my head. So I might like be just, who knows on what trip I will be today. My name is Althea Grace. I'm also called the Soul Whisperer. I have my own channel called Soul Whisperer on YouTube, and I invite you to visit and subscribe if you like what I say. And any of my subscribers, return that to Miss Joelle, please. She's an amazing light. We are doing similar kind of work, but different. And so I'm just looking forward to the conversation today because um, for each of us, it brings us to um, step up a level in doing it. She's been doing more lives than I have, I gotta say that. But you know, it's just something that keeps us moving forward. And so if I can speak for both of us, today was about a small conversation and seeing what message Spirit wants to bring through for you through us, that, you know, we might, you know, put a little love in your heart. Okay.
That's right.
Put a little more light in the world. It's like I'm thinking and feeling. So that's it,
Absolutely.
I hope.
I love that you hear music because clairaudient music is one of the first ways that I realized that I was connecting to psychic messages. I thought it was things that I was pulling out of my musical bag, but then at certain points in time, I would think, that's not, why would I pull that particular song out? And then I began to recognize and experience the voice of my grandfather and the
Ooh.
songs as messages from him. So that was like one of my first kind of awakenings to, you're not going crazy. These songs really, you are being rather, because I would tickle myself. Like, and I was like, well, if I was the originator of the funny song or the ironic lyrics, why am I laughing as if I'm entertained by someone else? And it's like, because you're actually being entertained by someone
By
else.
someone else.
And they are very, I was like, wow, that was really humorous. And I began to appreciate the ironic lyrics that I would hear in a grocery store in my head and begin to develop my relationship with Spirit in that way as a prompt. So sing away whatever comes to your mind. So it's very interesting because both of us use oracle cards and tarot cards. And one of the things that we often talk about and share, we're grabbing cards and we're pulling cards out and sharing what sparks off of that. And so I wanted to do that, uh, as a way to, sorry, I'm looking here because we just had a drop in the views. So I don't know if our stream kind of messed up or not, but I see people still logging in. Welcome be the infinity. So I was very curious to see what would happen when we tap into the collective. And I have a collection of over 60 oracle cards decks. I love oracle cards. They're so creative as ways for artists to bring in spiritual guidance. I think it's awesome. And you do a tarot temp every day. You do readings, soul whispers, and you're very connected to daily messages for people. So if people want to be inspired, I would absolutely encourage them to surf over and subscribe to your channel as well. How do you work with cards like on a daily basis?
Well, I don't do the daily tarot temperature anymore. I used to do them every day. Now I do it once a week just because of how I view the energy actually playing out. Especially now with this big energy that we got. I don't think things, I mean, they can, spirit is do what it wants to, but I think that it plays out over time in some way. So I cut that down. But what I do every day is on the Instagram channel, I draw what I call your soul whispers message for the day for whoever views that. so that I stay in touch with that in a more, direct way. I also have been of this month, there is Healing Through Tarot on Instagram. I know she has a tarot podcast, and she has this month thing going where you pull a card every day based on her prompts. So I've been doing that, answering the question for myself, whatever that question is for the day. So that's kind of how and I just get over whatever deck that day I feel I'm supposed to get, I get, whether it's a tarot or an oracle deck, I use it in all
Okay.
cases, actually.
What were you prompted to pull for today's session?
Well, I don't. I have several sitting around me. It kind of depends on where you start, the
Okay.
question, and I'll get the vibe for the energy. But I have the universal weight here. I have my angel white light oracle, one of my favorite, Alana Fairchild. I have the wisdom of the oracle. I have the energy oracle. I got a lot of things,
Okay.
so I'm just waiting to see what I feel.
Okay. Well, I pulled several decks as I was prompted to by Spirit as I came in to do this session. We had a bit of a preliminary here to make sure everything was okay. So what I'm doing now, first of all, is pulling from the first deck, which is going to be from the Find Your Happy cards, because if there is anything that I am about and that you are about, it is trying to bring in the vibration, the highest vibration possible. And as we know, these are times where it can be challenging to keep your vibration high. So it is a beautiful Sunday here in Atlanta, very, beautiful sunny weather. It's fall. People are going outside and enjoying the sunlight. So it's just not gray and dreary. And so let's talk about the energy of happiness. And I do see questions starting to come into the feed, and I'll note those and we will work our way back around to those. All right. So first of all, let's see here. And I love playing with this because I believe that spirit is playful and happy. So I will let you choose. Are we going to start with pile 1, 2, or 3?
Say that again. What
Pile
about the
1,
number?
2, or 3?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh, pick a number.
Yeah.
3.
All right. 3 is about balancing mind, body, and spirit. So let us see what messages about balancing our mind, body, and spirit. Well, this is perfect. I am open and willing to live my life in new ways.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, talk about an energy that's aligned with this experience, right? Living live and doing live readings and coming and putting ourselves out here in this way to connect is certainly new for me. And I open myself to this experience to bring a level of happiness to my life.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just responding because the colors are speaking to me. They remind me of my rhodochrosite. This is
Yes.
the stone, I call this the stone of love and those colors are speaking to me of the love energy that is, in that message, whether for you, for me, for all of us. This message is instructive that we are able to, or that we can be able to be open to possibilities backed by love. That's how I'm feeling it. And it's interesting because the deck that I picked up has those colors as well, if you can see on the back here. It's got that same, I don't know what color that is, mauve and rose and lavender mixed colors. So that's very interesting to me.
Okay, so let's keep moving with it. I mean, I see crown chakra energy, and so it's like I am open So our divine guidance coming in and coming down through us, of course, when we are aligned with the highest version of ourselves and spirit, that absolutely leads us on the path that is sometimes unknown, right? And being willing to shift out of the driver's seat to be co-driving with spirit can be a new way of life for many people. And it can be very anxiety inducing, to say the least, in terms of letting go of things. For those of us who are very, ordered and controlling, and we use our mind. I'm an air sign, I know you're a fire sign, but like stepping into that trusting energy and allowing the divine to drive is definitely a new way of being.
Yeah, and we're both cardinal signs. We're both masculine signs in that regard of that energy. So they're more even the need for control, that take charge, kind of like drive the bus energy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd throw that in for what it's
Yes.
worth. So I'm an Aries, and I volunteer that Joelle's a Libra, as my bestie is. And so we're opposites. That means we balance each other out personally. You have the things that show me how to be more attentive to others and put my energy and interest there. And I have the things that show you perhaps how to be more selfish in the best way.
Right.
Yourself and your energy, protecting yourself and giving to yourself first before you're trying to feed everyone. And I think that's lovely in both situations.
Absolutely. I see you pulling, right?
Oh, I have my little deck. I was shuffling, but then I
Yes.
um I
While
wasn't.
you
Are
do
you
that,
waiting
I
for me to
would
pull
I would
something?
have to say I'm getting if ever there is a time that we are all challenged to live our lives in a new way, it is in this time of 2020, with all of the structural things that we have based our reality uh,
Hmm.
behaviors on are no longer here for us, right? And so being open and willing rather than reluctant and recalcitrant or kicking and screaming, that changes our experience of this transformation period as well.
And I think
So,
there's a lot of people that are in process. I think there are people who are solidly, aware that there is another way of looking at and perceiving life and viewing things. And then there are those who are like, what are you talking about? So it's kind of like, I think the people, they may not be solidly seeing the new world, so to speak, the new earth, so to speak, but they are realizing that all that glitters isn't gold over here. Somebody is trying to, I'm quoting my daddy all the time, put us in the trick bag and make us stay unaware that there is more going on. There's more life. There's more of every good thing than just what we've been led to believe. And so I think in both situations, we try to act as midwives for those who are seeing that and who are interested in exploring. See, I'm looking at my words here. Anyway, so do you want me to pull a card?
yeah, yeah,
I have a
oh,
tarot. I have tarot here. That's this deck, the Crystal Visions, and I just was drawn to pull it before you pull that card. So I think that's a message right there.
and while you do that, I'm going to keep shuffling myself. And we've got another message to come through from this Find Your Happy deck. But I'm also going to, so we can just keep the spiritual energy flowing, we'll just continue to draw and channel in the messages and guidance. Folks are talking about making sure we do our self-care in the midst of all this, and that may be actually a change for many of us, is actually putting ourselves in the care position. Willing to live life in a new way where we matter as much as our loved ones that we esteem, that we take a dose of the medicine that we prescribe to others, you know?
And speaking of medicine, because the card that I pulled about this process is represented here as the Nine of Swords. For anybody that knows, this is the high anxiety card. This is the stress beyond stressability. This is the can't sleep at night, can't eat a bite. Maybe God is trying to tell you something.
Okay.
So, and so this can be the message, how, you know, of what you're saying about the self-care, about the energy, about not letting yourself stay stuck in your, you know, analyzer, you know, and in the mental realm, in the processing. Sometimes you do have to step back. Part of that being open to the new process that your card spoke to is maybe trusting in ways you haven't trusted, or letting something different guide you that doesn't have anything to do with that control, doesn't have anything to do with you trying to process and figure it out, doesn't have anything to do with, you know, handle it, which used to be a line on an old TV show. And so it's this message that is telling us, in the interest of self-care, to be mindful of, you know, placating or playing to your fears, playing to those runaway thoughts that can take you down the rabbit hole of misery, as I see it. So that's the first card.
Well, it's so interesting because we have to relate this through our personal experience. And both you and I had energy of anxiety about some of the new ways that we are interacting with our audiences and our communities through social media on Instagram. And, you know what I'm saying? And I had reached a point this week where I kind of just fizzled out and was super tired. I had a lot of energy. There was a lot of energy happening in the collective. My body was experiencing energy. I was trying to do this. I was trying to do that. I was trying to answer to this. I had my own set of expectations and things that were on my list that I needed to do. And at some point I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was working with another beautiful spirit, Carolyn Munden, and she was like, that's you, let it go. That's not spirit. You know, any lost sleep, Nine of Swords energy of being awake at night with thoughts and should I do this? Did I remember to do that? Is this going to work out okay? All that kind of thing was purely my experience of it, right? And it's so interesting because what I'm also getting is the color purple. So this card is very purple. Your deck is very purple. That image is there. Earlier today, you sang a snippet of Sister to me. Sister, you've been on my mind. From the color purple, right? Even maybe God is trying to tell you something, like that whole thing of the color purple. Seems to me that there is a message in that, when it's like the color purple only wants to be loved, like the flowers that are in the field. They're not sitting there stressing over being flowers today. They're not worrying about the approval of their parent today. Like, is my mama flower okay with the little baby flower that I have become, or did I fail her as a flower? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are, because of our thinking mind, we are uniquely the ones who experience that anxiety and angst and crisis.
You look frozen. I don't know if you can still hear me, or if I appear to be not moving. I mean, moving, but you're frozen, Joelle. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, and you know, I'm just
I guess I got a message, something about my internet connection. Yikes. Okay.
Well, we will hopefully keep on and push through, because I still see you and hear you fine.
Okay, good.
And of course, our users, listeners in the community will be a few seconds behind this. So I'll keep an eye here to see if anybody indicates any kind of, they say we're both clear. So we're just going to keep on moving, you know. Okay. So yeah, the color purple and the being free to be in the field of flowers and having that and be our experience. I'm looking right now, and 1717 is the number that's popping up on my screen. So I'm sure there's a numerology in that, and I'll probably pull in up something with that later. So being able to be in the enjoyment of your reality without the anxiety, giving ourselves space to do that, to me, that's one of the most caring things that you can do for yourself, is to let yourself off the hook for
Yeah.
all these expectations that you bring into your energy field and then act and respond to. Let ourselves be in the enjoyment of it, because when it boils down to it, both you and I love to pull cards, and we love to talk with spirit, and we love to talk to each other. So the stress around doing a connected event in public forum took away from our enjoyment, but it was a lesson for through us and for others then about making sure when you get overloaded and overwhelmed into this point where your body is out of balance, that triple mind, body, spirit, your body is paying a price for your anxious mind. And we forget about the spirit part about it. Then the message is to right our triangle and to get it back, right?
And it's so true because for whatever reason last night I was so stressed out. And I woke up, I went to sleep at 9 o'clock and I was up at 1 o'clock. And I've been up since 1 o'clock, so beyond 12 hours now. And I'm just like on adrenaline in that regard because I know I did it to myself. You know, that's my own anxiety, my own Nine of Swords energy happening about what ifs and what's going on and how can I manage this and how can I control that, and all the mad possibilities that will just drive you down into really no man's land, and obviously great fatigue. so
Absolutely.
so did you say there were questions, or how are
No,
we?
I'm just saying, I didn't know if you were pulling another card, like
Oh
if
no,
you
I
had
haven't.
another tarot.
I
Okay,
will.
well, let me look here to see what the other message was from this.
Where is-
Oh, wow. Spirit is so hilarious. Oh my gosh. First of
what
all, this
now?
is
More of the
this is
same?
a four. So four is our foundation. So we are setting a new foundation where we are open and willing to live our lives in new ways. So we don't even know what those pillars are yet,
You
but
pull
we
that
know
again?
it's going to be new. It's number four on this open. I am open. So
Did you
four
pull
is,
it again?
I'm sorry, what?
You pulled it a second time?
No, no, this is just
Oh,
from the first one. I noticed the numerology. What came
oh.
out the second time on the bottom of the deck is how I feel is more important than how I look. Okay, spirit. Amen. And amen. All right. So here we have blue and purple. Blue is our throat chakra and expressing ourselves, being able to speak our truth and be connected to the divine as we bring it forward. And this is a 20. So, 22 is balance of being and feeling and moving, right? So we use both of those things. So our feeling behind our activity is more important than how we look doing the activity. Okay. Woo, big message. Because we've been talking about social media and the filter of our lives and all of the things that happen with when we consider how we present ourselves to the world in this system that has become so important, right?
Oh my God, I tell
Supposedly.
you, I couldn't take it anymore. I think I'm just reaching a point where the self-obsession with with how we look and how we feel, especially on a vehicle like Instagram, where everybody is, you know, strike a pose and every other thing. Now I know it's caters to imagery, but I mean, there's a moment in which I think we have become self-obsessed in that way. And so everything is about the right approach. If I'm going to the bathroom, I've got to look good doing it as I snap myself on my way in. I mean, that may be a bit of an exaggeration, but it's just how I've just been like, I've had enough of that, because I think it's taking us away from that feeling aspect of ourselves, the deep connection to spirit and to what matters. It takes us away from that, and it takes us into the superficial in ways that keep us, you know, pulled away
Right.
from the things that are going to be what I call our savior. What's going to save us as the madness spins, we're not really paying attention to it because we're so preoccupied with how I look instead of how I feel. And so there's this idea that, in every moment we've got to be paying attention to that. And I think that's a red flag for me, because it's just like, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Just keep looking over here and you won't
Right.
really know all the other things going on behind. But anyway, I'll
No,
pull another.
it's so true because you said behind the curtain. One of the images that I was thinking of, I saw an article which was a reporter, and the picture that she shared went viral because in the picture, she shows what she looks like as she's reporting the news in her home with her yellow coat, jacket on. And she's professional and she's doing this. But then her husband captured a picture of her from the side. And what it showed is that kids' toys were all over the floor. She had it propped up on a makeshift table with a box underneath it, kind of precariously here as she's perched with a yellow suit jacket on and then jogging shorts on, which she had to explain to everybody, no, these were not my underwear. They were shorts. I didn't think people would think about it, but and she's in this presentation mode, but her reality was clearly the real reality that any parent who has been quarantined with their children and who is trying to manage their own work life and then their kids' school responsibilities and everyone being in the same environment for the last 3, 4, 5 months. And she talked about how she felt it was really important for other working mothers to allow herself to be vulnerable in that moment and to show this is the really real
Yeah, you
that's
can't see
happening.
around mine either.
Yeah,
It's
you
the
know what I'm
really real
saying?
real.
So, but clearly she's doing what she loves. And yes, she feels stressed about managing all of the things that are placed upon her in this current time to balance. And many of us are like that. We are experiencing a whole new level of responsibility. Like it's very overwhelming, right? Because we're forced to respond to new ways of working, new ways of interacting with our family, trying to figure out how to educate our kids, trying to figure out how to navigate all this stuff. And it is not going to be pretty and perfect right away, and it's not meant to be. If we were going to easily adapt to this, then it would have been already an easy adaptation that we had made to shift our reality to a higher vibration. We haven't been able to do that in a way up until this time where we didn't have to then experience this radical shift out of our framework. So
Well,
it's
growth.
okay for it to be stressful, for it to acknowledge the stress, but then to stay in that persistent state of anxiety, stress, and response is going to tax our body. So we've got to figure out, and many people are very desperate right now. Okay, I'm looking at 2323, which is 5 and 5. So number six always speak to me. We're going through this time of change. So it's okay to not have figured it all out yet, I guess is what I'm saying, but figure out how you feel, be in your feelings. And when you need to shift from a stressful feeling, then make that your focus because that is self-care.
And change and growth are often messy, like around her desk, I was watching a video a little while back of a woman who was showing how to do lighting, because my lighting situation is not so good here. It's hard to get certain things here where I live in another country. And so she said, right here in this desk, I meticulously clean it. I meticulous, just same kind of like the mother you just talked about. And then she said, because if I were to pan around, you would see my life as it really is and not this neat little space that I've dedicated that must be cleaned every day on a regular basis so I can present myself this way to you. Again, presentation. How do we feel? How do we, what do we worry about? How we're seen more than what we're bringing through.
Yes. And I think we need to shift that to, okay, let me make sure my feelings every day are Roomba'd, are tidied up. If you're vacuum cleaner, your automatic vacuum cleaner, your Roomba, right? Like making sure that you're tending to your inner feeling state on a daily basis as diligently as you do to your publicly viewable space, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that we are as disciplined about that. And we're not judging ourselves for the feeling, you know what I'm saying? Carpets get dirt on them, dust bunnies arise. That's the natural state of ourselves as well, right? We're natural beings. We are going to get things that we wish and need to clean up out of our energy field. And that's the whole purpose of being able to feel it, is so we feel it to heal it, right?
Heal it
So
to heal it.
yeah, so to become as diligent as we are about our internal state of cleanliness or well-beingness, clarity, as we are about the public part of ourselves.
Okay, and I think on that note, I'm going to get another card. Let's see what we have.
While you're doing that, let me say, Tiffany, would you please select 1, 2, or 3, and I will use that number for the next card that I bring out.
So I brought out the 3 of Wands, and this is the energy of creativity. This is the energy of being able to allow yourself to grow and expand, to be able to utilize what you already have without having to seek madly, for things outside of yourself, without having to seek for something. It's already provided. This is spirit energy. Wands energy is fire energy. That's spirit energy. That's creative energy. This is how you make things happen in your life. It comes installed. And so it's kind of like the universe saying in this moment through this energy, as I perceive it, is that, open again, that message you brought about opening to new ways. Look at that. She's on a road, opening to new ways, to expand, to grow, to create, to use the passion that is moving through you, wanting to express and make you more vibrant with life, more whole, more possible. Like she's holding what looks like a sun or some kind of a light to me. That's that pure spirit energy coming through. And so this energy is like a signal for me that when we are, tempering and keeping our fears at bay, we're able to be more available to the energy of spirit, who's always ever here in the first place, who's always speaking to us. But it's just that when the mind is busy, it's just there. It's like, okay, well, anytime you get ready. That's how I perceive it. So I look at this as the energy of, potential growth waiting to happen. And we have this energy in this moment. We have this energy to be acknowledged. We have this energy to say, yes, I'm available. I'm willing to, I'm willing to allow for this energy to move through me. I'm willing to open to that new road, that new possibility for something new. Because what we've been doing all this time isn't really so much fun. It isn't really any good. And many of us are seeing through it, so yeah, if not now, when? Available to the new, to more life, to more love, to more joy. If not now, when? This is the moment.
Can you hold that card up again? Is there, so the way my trifocals and 49-year-old eyes see it, the front part of the image looks like almost like a girl. It may be a flower, but it looks like a girl to me, like me, not her, not the big one, over in the opposite corner. It looked like a girl in a dress, kind of
here
in prayer.
Here?
Yes. And
that's a dragon.
It's a what?
Dragon.
Oh.
Fire. And here by her is some kind of a big mountain cat. A lion, maybe.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
that's very interesting because as I was seeing it, it looked to me like a young woman down here consulting the higher self, which has the high view of the path ahead,
Oh, I love that.
illuminating the path of the that is elevating. It's going up a mountain. It is an ascension path. You know, that's where the light is emerging from behind the mountains later to it. So that's what I was trying to understand what.
Oh, I love that because that is a very, I mean, it is, what is it you see? You know, what is it the
Mhm.
spirit speaking through you?
Oh,
And that makes perfect sense. I love it.
I see the cougar there back at the mountain line. Now, what's funny is last night I watched a video. This man, it's all over the internet. He was in Utah. He's jogging, and he sees these baby mountain lion cubs and begins to video. And then the mama comes out of the woods and begins to chase
Run it
him,
down.
but he is not. She's not aggressively. Clearly, she's just trying to get him away from her babies, but she menaces him, and he runs backwards,
Oh,
right? With his camera, but he's running backwards up the mountain. Like you can see he's on the incline, and the whole time he's cussing at the cougar, like, shoo, shoo, because they say to make yourself bigger and be aggressive, you know. So he's cussing at the cat, he's pleading with the cat, like, go get your babies. And she would get, and then like charge at him. And he literally, the fact that he did not fall over, and it's a 6-minute video
wow.
minutes that he was focused on the problem here, but he was trusting himself that he was not going to trip over one of those rocks because it was a rocky road. He was like, all I
Oh,
wanted to do was go out for a run today. You know what I'm saying? Like you could feel it. He's like, I don't want to die today, but he was still keeping he wasn't getting hysterical. He was keeping his wits about him. He was
wow.
remembering the things that he had been told to do by, wood safety people, which is not, don't turn your back and run because she gonna, you know what I'm saying? And what he was told was not exactly effective, but he still managed to safely back himself up this mountain for 6 minutes, right? So
Wow.
the analogy of being able to, even though you can't see what is on the upward path behind you, if you trust what you're known, you face it head on, and then move your ass. It's like move, don't stop. You know what I'm
Free
saying?
your mind and your ass will follow. He
Go,
freed his
right? So
mind from fear. In that moment, he might have had it, but he didn't overtake him. He
yeah,
was he was sensible, so to speak, with it.
yeah, and he
Didn't
was
let it.
shaking afterwards.
I
He
know
was
he
like,
was.
"Ooh," because he finally felt that she was far enough away that he grabbed a rock and lobbed it down, and then she ran away. But I mean, she had chased him far enough away from her babies that she
Don't
was like,
mess with
finally,
mama.
they're no longer a threat. Like so, Cougar Mom, right? And he, he said, "Whew, I can't believe this," and his adrenaline and his fear. So we're naturally going to fear, but we do it anyway. It was either run backwards, your ass up the hill, or know that you're going to get clawed to death by a protecting mother, And so for that, we are taking a lesson to say, sometimes you just got to move or you're going to get mowed over or damaged. And what you need to do is align with the divine so that experience does take you higher and into safety. Okay. Sorry, I had to check in with the chat.
I heard the last thing you said was told Tiffany to choose a number,
Oh
but I
yeah,
didn't.
I was just waiting to see if you still had more on the
No,
three.
no, no. I'm pausing. Just
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's
love
funny
that
that the
story.
cougar needed to come forward. So okay, so I'm looking at the actual animal oracle, spirit animal
I was thinking of
oracle,
pulling that
which
too.
was interesting because it turns out there's a cougar in your thing and I didn't even know it was there. So let's see. Tiffany selected pile one. Now she had an earlier question about abundance. So we're gonna see what this energy will bring to us about abundance. So, oh, koala spirit.
Ooh.
Spirit has a plan.
Ooh.
Oh, look at this beautiful card. Let me see if I can add some light to this situation here. Let's see.
It comes through here, clear here to me, but it's just me.
I don't know what that little red thing is on there, but I mean, these cards are so
I have those cards. I almost,
beautiful. So Spirit has a plan. In your Three of Wands, there was a road, right? Pathway. Spirit could see it, like that illuminated being, right? Was at a vantage point high enough that they could see up to the mountaintop and the pathway. And those at the bottom can't see that, right? So here we have this message of Spirit having a plan. And what I'm seeing is that this is 35, so that is also 8, which is a message of abundance, of infinite recycling of things, which means when we are in our happy, when we are vibrating joyously and giving of our gifts, when we're using our gifts, we feel great. That's what most of us love to do. If we're artists, if we're a singer, we're going to sing whether we're getting abundance per se for it or not, because it's our heartfelt gift of expression. So when you step into divine flow and the direction of that path, then you will be abundantly supported to get more happiness, more joy, more opportunity to use your gift. So if you are looking at your abundance as tied to what it is you're doing, finding your happy and how you're feeling when you're doing it and being open to the path that Spirit directs you to is going to absolutely lead you into abundance. There should be no, it just, we don't see it from our vantage point, right? And that's the challenge that we as humans have. You look like you were ready to say something.
oh, I was just thinking about that because money is so hard. Well, abundance isn't money. I mean, it includes money. So, but we always think about money, and it's so like an issue for our world. It's such a thing. I'm growing and seeing that energy differently now, but it's like a long, hard road to hoe. First of all, you don't know there's anything wrong with how you view it. You think you're just supposed to go get it. And if you don't have it, maybe there's deficits in you, there's something wrong with you, but there's just the whole thing is misguided and we've been miseducated. And I learned a lot from my friend Jasmine, and she's still here. She's always told me that money is an exchange, it's an energy. It's not real. And so to the degree that you're able to understand the way energy works is the degree it isn't a thing. Yeah, we have these symbolic representations, these coins, these things that say this is worth something, but it's not. And it's been a long, long process for that to unroll in some kind of understand. I could hear her words, I knew what she meant, but it didn't make any sense in terms of, but yeah, I know that, but in the real world, I don't have any money. That used to be my retort. I don't use that language anymore. I do I don't allow my soul and my spirit and my being to revolve around, first of all, the lack energy, but second of all, thinking that that thing is going to make a difference in my life, because it's not. Yes, we all want it, we all need it. It facilitates so many things for us. But the pursuit of it for that reason is going to keep it away from us. And so
Mm-hmm.
that for me has been the thing. The grasping is the elusive thing. And so
Mm.
it's like, even in the wanting, I need, but I can't because I need. And with that need that way, you know, you're gonna it's just gonna be like I say, it's like 10 steps ahead of you. You're running after it and you're never really getting there. And so it's changing the way you understand what abundance is, how you see it in every single aspect of your life, how you begin to stop listening to the messages about the value of, you being tied to abundance or money, because I'm just substituting money for it for most of us, in this world, because that's how they kept us and are keeping us hooked into this world. That's just the way I see it. And so it's like asking the wrong question, because the question implies, what is it I need to do to chase this thing and get it, to grasp this thing and get it? And really, it's all about the divine feminine energy that we're all moving into now, which is about receptivity. What do I do to open to receive that energy, to receive that abundance, to know that the abundance begins in me, is me, and that I'm a vessel for it, and that nobody can block my good, my abundance. So I would just say, like in that energy as well, turning that, beginning to be willing to understand it in a new way or a different way. Again, opening to a new road from that initial card, which I see all these cards chaining together, a message for us all.
Absolutely. I mean, the Nine of Swords, if there is ever a way to put people into energy of sleepless nights and worry and concern, it is to have a money challenge. And the Matrix is very good at presenting us survival challenges as a part of the carrot and the stick system that we are actually exiting out of. I mean, I certainly want to live in a different way to
Yes.
where monthly bills don't trigger me being worried. And I've worked consciously into doing that again, because it's hard to say that money doesn't matter when our homelessness, our ability, our root chakra ability to feed ourselves, provide safety and shelter is absolutely dependent on money for most everybody in
Yes.
this particular paradigm. So that Nine of Swords energy, if it's keeping you awake late at night, then we move into a new way of being, which then is we feel our way into the absolute abundance that we can resonate with from our frequency. And one of the things I'm thinking about is that koalas, they are not hunters, right? They are bears, but they are not hunters. They're like the most peaceable beings. I see this one has a little feather even on its ear. So it's almost like the clairaudient whisperings of spirit that can come into your ear that we talked about at the beginning, hearing messages from spirit that take you along your divine path. Koalas, all they do is sit there and nibble their little leaves. You know what I'm saying? You always see them and everybody's like, oh, they're so cute, right? Because they're not just out there killing. They're not getting salmon on the salmon run. They're not hunting for other living beings, right? Which is what all of our kind of current paradigm is, survival of the fittest. The thing that is the most detrimental to koalas is the loss of their habitat and their environment, which is at our hands, right? We're the ones responsible for that instability for koalas and pandas and other peaceful beings that live on the land. So the same thing is said for us as peaceful beings who are here to live on the land, is that we have been our own problem in the creating this environment that has turned out to be not fruitful to some of us. So as we are shifting into this new way of being, then we will have the abundance of like leaves to crawl from tree to tree slowly. Koalas also don't rush, if I remember right, and their little babies hang on. You know what I'm saying? They're always like, oh, it's so cute. So like we can be warm and fuzzy, peaceful beings in a new way instead of being the harsh, fighting, competition, Darwin-based survival of the species kind of way of living is what I'm getting from that. Now, let me share the guidance from here, from the book. This is the Colette Baron Reed Animal Spirit. Spirit has a plan. In nature, the koala moves slowly through the branches of the eucalyptus tree, leisurely chewing the leaves, reminding us that life is not a race or competition. I have to say, I hadn't read this card before. I love that. Chasing around after every distraction can keep us from recognizing that we have all we need and that spirit will always be there with gifts to sustain us. You are being asked to trust that by moving so slowly with faith in the abundance, and this is on page 107, which is like that 1717 I saw earlier. For the abundance that is everywhere, surrendering to a power greater than yourself, you will be able to experience the manifestation of your desire. As you take your time enjoying the riches available to you right now, sitting peacefully, you begin to radiate the joy and abundance you seek. Spirit is here to help you discover happiness, pleasure, and contentment, all gifts that are yours now and in the future. Have faith and trust in Spirit's plan for you and know that you are loved and cherished. Now, these cards also have a protection message. I didn't do this deck in reversal, but we can always receive the guidance from that anyway. It says, are you feeling uneasy and mistrustful of the world? Have you been hiding in a safe spot, afraid to venture out because you're convinced that life and other people will disappoint you? Koala Spirit has appeared to let you know that your faith is misplaced. The present safety you seek is already passing away because all things are temporary and outer conditions are always changing. Find your safety by placing your faith and trust in Spirit, who will grow the abundance that is already yours. Perhaps you are acting slowly and overly cautiously because you lack faith that there is more for you out there than what you know. You may have boxed yourself into a safe place that has nothing else to give you and become so familiar with it that you have forgotten to explore. Are you feeling pessimistic and convinced there is nothing more out there for you? Koala Spirit reminds you that self-care is meant to replenish you so that you can venture out again in faith, trusting that there is no limit to the joy Spirit wants you to experience. Be good to yourself and reconnect with Spirit to reclaim your faith in the things yet unseen. That's so perfect because in the chat on the YouTube, there's conversation about self-care, putting your oxygen mask on first. We have here, before we allow, we have to trust because we believe it completely. Be the Infinity says the abundance is always here. We just forget about it sometimes. We have Twisa Dabama is here. I am, Newt Pooji says there's more than enough for everyone. Everyone is, commenting in here very along the lines with this message. And I love how it just ties together. It's such a beautiful continuity.
And I just wanted to add that nobody is saying that, the real issues for the need for having those material resources in this world is a very real thing. But you do have to be very mindful of how you allow yourself to think about it and how you allow your focus of energy, because it's been like I said, for myself. I mean, things that just now I'm well into my, I'm more life. I've got less life on my side now where I am than I had before. And I'm just now getting to that in a real concrete way of understanding it. And so when you put all your mind and your energy and your anxiety on procuring it, again, that Nine of Swords energy, it's like you're chasing it away from you. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm saying shift the way you understand what it is you need. Begin to trust the idea that you are divine. You can't see it. We can't see everything. Sometimes we just have to think that, okay, sometimes I've thrown my hands up and I've said, all right, okay, I don't know what it is I'm supposed to do about this. I realize I can't do anything. And just somehow relieving that even in my frustration, has made it a little bit of an opening for some new energy. How about let's try this? Have you ever considered this? Well, okay,
Mhm.
now that you ask, I'm always here waiting for you. But since you think you can handle it and figure it out yourself, I'll
Mhm.
just sit back till you really decide you want to let me in. That's how I'm seeing this energy. And it's
Mhm.
like just a matter of trying to not make it, it's a balancing act, which you mentioned in the beginning, because material needs and fulfillment are very, very real, but you cannot afford to let them take you here. You
Right.
just can't, because not only won't you get anything, you're going to get yourself sick, you know uh, uh, take away from your vitality, so many things. So I think we're just saying a lot of things, trying to reinforce a step by step, the smallest mile will be won. Learning how to trust that you're divinely loved and divinely guided and protected and cared for. And that if there's any way you can make a little bit of opening for that, understanding, or to entertain that idea. I believe that the spirit energy will rush into you in a way you can't even imagine in this moment.
Mm.
And so I'm speaking that to opening the door not only to the money aspects of abundance, but the abundance of life, vitality, love, peace, more joy, more possibilities that you couldn't even imagine because you had already decided
Mm.
that, well, I don't have it, so therefore, that's the writing on the wall, kind of, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Would
Hope
you
that
show that three of wands again? Yes. The pathway, that is following that pathway to a higher vibration and
Yeah, from
trusting.
here to here and
Yeah.
beyond,
Yes.
like the man walking backwards up the incline. To
Yes.
what he doesn't know is facing him. Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful.
Well, while you get ready to pull another tarot, I'm going to, oh, wow, this is funny. uh, this is the next spirit animal oracle, and it is cat spirit.
Ooh, me love.
Okay, so
Me gusta mucho.
it's so funny. This is 13, which is talking about cycles of endings and beginnings,
It's
right?
four
And it's
again.
almost
Enjoy
like,
the four.
your cougar over there is a kind of a cat. It's the same orange sacral chakra color of creativity. We've got this little heart here, on the fur of the cat. And it's interesting because this week, oh, and it's also got like a crystal, seed crystal on its head.
Oh, that's clear now.
One other thing that I saw this week was this cat that was born that has its marking is a black heart in its fur. Its fur is all white and its heart, it's got a big heart right here. And the person was like, this is a message for humanity. This cat was born and its nose also had a heart shaped
Oh, whoa.
black heart. I mean, very, very clear. So here we have this heart of this cat here energy. Now, I will say I am not a cat person.
I
Very
am.
allergic to them, and it's gonna send. It would be the quickest thing to send me to the hospital to be around a cat. But let us see what energy and messages want to be relayed from that energy as well here. Okay,
What
we've
is the
got
what
lots
is the
of.
message on the card?
It says claim your independence.
Mm.
When cat spirit meows, she is calling you to claim your independence and allow for some space between you and others in your life. The only way you can grow in all your relationships now is to have a healthy sense of self respect and self worth.
Mhm.
When you walk with dignity, knowing who you are, self aware, and willing to grow, trusting the value you bring, the world will mirror all this back to you in kind. When you say no to codependency and enmeshment, live and let live, and practice taking risks as you wander into new territory for you. So let me read that again. When you say no to codependency and enmeshment, live and let live, and practice taking risks as you wander into new territory for you, Cat Spirit rejoices. She is here to urge you to let your independent spirit roam free. In the protection message, it says, this may be the time you are facing some unpredictable situations. Are you hesitant to take a risk, too cautious to jump into something new because you fear you can't trust yourself? Cat Spirit is saying, go for it because you will land on your feet. If nothing seems to be going according to plan, there is no reason to worry. Cat Spirit loves to mix it up, and these seeming upsets will actually bring you some wondrous and unexpected opportunities. Get ready to pounce, as you may be called to jump into something new at a moment's notice. At this time, your instincts are keen and your intuition is sharp. Remember, even a temporary failure can lead to a spectacular success. So embrace the adventure. You are sure footed and can trust yourself. Wow, sure footed. You can trust yourself to back yourself up the mountain without being able to see, just trusting in your divine guidance. Wow, that is really unbelievable.
So while you did that, I pulled from the wisdom oracle of the oracle,
Mm-hmm. In
between
between.
worlds. Between
Mm-hmm.
worlds, which is where we are. And this energy, I do believe, has come up quite a bit in the readings that I've done in general about this period of transition that we're all in at this time. And it's reminding us that, might have one foot in this world. I spoke to that in the beginning, if you remember. Some people we're in the midwifing process of helping people who are seeing now. There's something not right with this picture that they're showing us. There's something that doesn't add up. There's some dissonance here. And now let me look over here and see what else. I see that there's some light that I didn't notice before. Now my attention is here and I'm curious about getting across that line, across to that new experience. And that is this moment of transition when you are not quite out of one world and not yet engaged in the other. And it says in this experience that you can experience some kind of like a temporary blindness because you can't quite see. Again, it requires that you trust the process, that you trust that, like the guy. He didn't take his eye off the cougar, but he was trusting somebody's going to get me up this hill. Something's going to get me up this hill. I got to believe, like the little train that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And that's this process of, moving from limited thinking, perspectives, understanding into a wider understanding that it's not at all like what I thought. And I'm in this no man's land here where I don't know, if I'm doing it right, if I don't know, exactly how it's going to go, but somehow along the line, I'm just kind of going with it and trusting that, I'm going to move. It reminds me of the high priestess, major arcana energy in the tarot, because she walks between worlds. She's got one foot in conscious world and one in the unconscious. She knows what it is to have walked in both of those energies, and she knows that she has as much wisdom as she has because she's much more expanded. And so I see this, as moving into a space in which we are greater than just what we think of as our possibilities at this time, and that we don't know what to expect, but being in a process of acknowledging that transition, it's the first step into some kind of light here.
Yes, yes. I'm looking for a specific image that came to mind as you're talking about this. Let me see if I
Uh,
can find it here.
and
There's
it
so many.
says that, okay, I'm going to read a little of it. It says, you to cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth because you are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place between what was and what will be is a
Mm,
state of making and unmaking and making again.
mm,
What is essential now is to admit not knowing. This is where the trust factor comes in. That little bit of
mhm.
light I was just talking about, opening just a little bit of crack, opening a little crack.
Look,
Know nothing about birthing no babies.
right.
Okay, I told you I would get a little silly. So it's saying that the seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child, glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so, and you will not be disappointed. Yeah.
Mm. And
And
that's
again,
number
the
three
colors are
again.
orange.
It's a three, which is again mind, body, spirit. We started with the three, right? And that gray side of it is clearly not, even though it's the reality, the old reality, it's clearly not as vibrant and colorful as the new that we are moving to, right? So being willing to transition from the gray to a new day and not really still knowing what that new day has is very interesting. And I have to say
Can't
that
see.
that oracle is written by the same person who I saw this card from. It's just Colette Baron Reed, right? That was
Yep.
the oracle deck. This is from the oracle of the seven energies. The
Oh, wow. The land
queen,
between the worlds. Wow.
right? And this is a four, again, 40, which we started with the I am open to new ways, right? So this bridge, and it's almost like we have the sun bridging between the two worlds as well. And that Three of Wands card where you talked about her holding this orb of illumination, so many tie-ins together with this. And so it's like the land between, we're going to create how we feel. It's not going to be about what it looks like, what it used to look like. It's going to be what it feels like for us, which is full of loving vibration as we transition through the 13 of transformation, a Scorpio season of moving through that in between period and being okay with trusting where we are, even though it might seem, I mean, I'm not a person who, I would not be sitting there on that rickety ass bridge. Okay, let me just say that right
I
now,
wouldn't either.
because I am scared
I
of
don't
heights.
like bridges.
I
Let's do
am
that.
scared to death of heights, right? So I'm not gonna feel comfortable on that pathway to that middle ground.
That little flimsy bridge supposed to be
Yeah.
sustaining the avatars. Uh,
Yes, but I know, like you can see almost up here is like the temple space where the oracles are, where the divine guidance comes in. So we have to go through the discomfort, the uncertainty, step by step to lead us to that divine place before we will be able to move over into the new feeling reality that is going to be manifesting. That's
mhm.
what I'm getting with that. Okay, so let me see here what we have for the land between. Being between worlds, learning to be okay while at the threshold of what was and what will be, a time of waiting and evolving, gray areas, something essential yet still in development, and metamorphosis. You're in a process of change. You know that you were called to it and can no longer be who you were, but you aren't sure what the next experience of your life will be. You are in between what was and what could be in a pupal stage, like during the metamorphosis of the caterpillar into the butterfly. However, you can't just skip the messy parts. You have to endure the unknown and uncomfortable as you reinvent yourself. The thing is, you're not quite there yet. You have one foot in the past, even if you're ready to shed that version of yourself and become something new. You must start redefining who you are in the context of your question. What do you believe is possible when you get to the next place? Can you explore this stage of your evolution to get to know yourself better? The process in between worlds is where things get really interesting. You learn how to manage your fear, how to stay present in the now, how to see in the dark. You absorb the lessons offered to you with grace because you can't go any faster. This is a real test of emotional fortitude, patience, trust, and humility. Once you have made this no man's land your home, it will be part of you. Then whatever was set in motion comes to life. This is what you've been waiting for. When you look back, you will grow to love the place in between, for that is where you were reborn.
Mm.
Well,
So big messages here today, I think, and very instructive, at least instructive to me. I don't know about how people are, because I can't see what's going on. I can't see the chat or anything. And I was thinking, maybe, do you
not
think,
going on
because
here.
we've been going for about an hour,
Yeah.
so do you think we should maybe just do one more or one make big message or something? Because I don't know what people are thinking or.
Well, I'll just tell you that people here are like, they're very involved in the reading. Everyone is making comments. And I mean, it is a
Oh, good.
follow. Lotus Flower Bomb is in the spot.
Hey, Lotus.
All kinds of folks here, and everyone is resonating with what is happening. I will say that I
I
have
think it's beautiful.
I have one more card that is already pulled, and I've got it to draw one last one. There's one person I need to look to see where she is. She asked for us to pull a card, but I'm going to have her select the card that is the final wrap up after because I just have to deliver the messages that I've been given. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you do. So I don't know if you have another
Yeah,
draw.
I'm going to get a card from the White Light Oracle because for me these are amazing cards, and I will do that when you or however.
So Kelly Lee, if you will select card 1, 2, or 3, that is going to be our final message. I do have, so it'll be the last thing after Althea brings her card, and I do have another animal spirit oracle that already had popped out that I want to get to. And I see everyone else. Thank you so much. We're not necessarily doing direct personal readings, but of course everyone here is receiving a personal reading. So, it's an interesting
That's true.
experience.
That's true. Because the energy that will be a blessing to those who are here, whether asked or unasked,
Yes,
on
yes.
some level.
So Kelly says we're going to pick card number 3. So the one that I'm going to pull from at the end here is from the Life Navigator Oracle. So I will shuffle those while you are pulling from that white light. I don't have that Oracle deck, so I love seeing cards that I don't have.
So are you waiting for me to pull now?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Really? Okay. Wow. Wow. Number 7, again, 7, the 7 blessings of Eve. Look at
Oh,
that.
wow.
Look at that. Because it was a dragon, but there was a card, I think, that had a snake in it or a serpent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you
It
drew it or if I
was.
drew it, but this is the 7 energies. 7 is the spiritual number, and it reflects going deeper into an experience, going deeper into the spirit, going deeper. And so I think the messages of the 4, the 7, and I forget the other one that you,
Please. Mm-hmm.
1717, I think you said, which is really um, a 7 also. So that's interesting. Okay. So I'm going to just see what this is all about because I've never seen it before. I've gone through this book like with, you know, my marking pen. Okay, I hope everyone can see this. Look at the amazing light there, and the serpent. The 7 blessings of Eve. A spiritual gift, and I ask for a message for us. A spiritual gift shall enter your heart and manifest as a blessing in your life. You have innate talents and abilities which will support your soul into full, glorious manifestation. You have been blessed with a beautiful divine destiny to fulfill. Ooh, if the church say amen. You have natural healing ability. Choose your thoughts and words so they reflect what you truly wish to put out into the world, because your influence is stronger and further reaching than you realize. Taking your thoughts, your mind thoughts, your word thoughts, putting them where you want to see instead of where you think you're supposed to focus, like, I got to focus on getting more of this money or getting this love in my life, or I got to focus on how I'm going to, move on up the line. I want to break out of the generational curses of my family that have kept us living low and living life. And you're being told that you've got it within you already. You have gifts to be tapped into, healing gifts. You have to understand that what you think and what you speak are very real magician wands and tools in this world to create the reality that you want, to create the life that you want. And if not now, I like to say, when are you going to acknowledge it? Even if you don't see it, act as if, speak it. Even if you don't believe it, even if you say, I don't believe it, but keep doing it anyway, because one day something's going to change. The balance of energy is going to change, and you're going to be believing it. So a spiritual gift entering our hearts, manifesting as a blessing in our lives, tells us that we are here to tap into our talents that we have just by virtue of being here, and that will support us into developing and having that abundance and everything else that we want, if we can just allow ourselves to make a choice, to decide, and not to leave it up to happenstance.
Let me tell you, you got a whole bunch of amens from the church, okay?
All right.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, preach, this is it, amen. Can you hold that pathway card number 3 of wands up next to that snake as well, please?
Eve dwelled in the original paradise, the Garden of Eden. She is the mother of knowledge. This is Mother Serpent. She is everything. In the shaman tradition, we talk about the serpent as a tool of transformation, powerful transformation in your life. She moves slow and easy, but she's here to do what help you make the change that you need. It says, from knowledge, wisdom can be developed. Wisdom is the egg of Sophia, the divine feminine power to be a birth mother of higher consciousness, to bring forth the light of loving awareness. Eve's oracle is not an omen of being cast out of paradise. It is a sign that a false view, which has been holding you captive, is going to give way to a greater understanding, which will empower you to be a bearer of the light, a priestess or priest of the egg of Sophia. This oracle encourages you to seek the knowledge you need, to not be held captive by the secrets or misinformation, and to know that from that knowledge you shall be able to shed false views, like a snake shedding its skin. Mother Serpent, teach us to do this the way you shed your skin, we say. You shall know what you need to know and find your way in truth. The oracle also indicates a shift away from shame and confusion, perhaps feeling you have something to prove, or that you are not enough, or that you have to atone for of failing in this or other lifetimes. Instead, your soul is moving you toward a realization of the inherent goodness and grace that is your real nature. You are blessed. You are granted a unique, unrepeatable human life. Even if you believe in reincarnation, acknowledging the soul continues to grow over many lifetimes. There will only be one lifetime when you are this you. If you treasure this life, you will become bolder, more fearless, more willing to step up as your real self, more willing to engage in healing and say yes to what makes your heart ring. And I'm going to stop there because it goes on and on and on. I think we got the idea. There's a blessing for us in this energy. I give thanks and I receive it in this moment. I speak that word and accept it. And it is so, and so it is. Ashe. I'm sorry, but that energy just got in me and through me.
Absolutely, me too. As a Sophia Oracle, you know what I'm saying? I'm like
I
vibrating,
know.
and 7 is my number indicator for the divine feminine, and that's what we intended to do as oracles of the divine feminine, was to be the conduits for these messages. So this, to me, is huge, right?
Huge.
And even the picture you had of the 3 of Wands, if you hold that up next to the serpent, it's the same winding, right? Imagery I'm seeing connected to there. Yes, like
Ah, yes. Wow, that was an astute observation.
I,
Wow. Power. Powerful.
and divine feminine power, which is in all of us. We
Yes.
are returning to that divine feminine rising in our reality, right? And we've got folks saying the snake is one of their totem
That's one of
animals.
mine.
I say, they it's huge. I mean, folks are like eyeballs, sparks, fire bombs. I'm feeling it wrapping me up in love. The presence of the ancestors is here.
It
Love,
definitely is.
light.
The
I mean,
mother is here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I
yeah,
feel
light.
blessed.
Lotus
I
Bomb
feel
says
the
the same
blessing.
divine light in both cards, right?
Yes, yes. So yeah,
Unbelievable.
so many messages, and all of these cards. You could just go on one card endlessly, as I see it, with the energy that we've tapped into today.
Well, that spark of like activation lights such a fire. We see the 3 of Wands is fire, right? So it's lighting within us the illumined pathway. I mean, that card is beautiful. That reading alone makes me want to go buy the deck, because I'm like, I want to know, it's amazing. And I hope that maybe you'll do a separate video where you just read the full guidance from that and channel in any more information that you get,
Oh,
because
from
I
the
would.
Three of Wands?
No, the 7 card from the white light oracle.
Oh,
If you would have time, I don't know what's in your
yeah,
queue.
I cut
If
off a
you
lot
would,
because there's a lot she writes, and then there's a healing process. And if
yes.
we actually had time, we would go through that healing process. But
So
we'll
we're going to meet on
it's
your channel. How
generic.
about that? We're going to meet on that note to do some work with you as you bring in more guidance about that energy. And what I will do is a follow-up video with this other
Ooh,
brown bear spirit was the other animal oracle. It's a 9, and it talks about taking time out. So I'm sure that with all the activations and all this information, we're going to process it. And bears are about hibernation. And so there'll be messages that I will bring in a separate video as well behind this for
wow.
our people who tuned in today. I do want to go ahead, and because we are having a long afternoon conversation, we've been asked to have Sunday sit downs on a regular basis.
Oh, I love the name. Who said that? Sunday sit downs. Whose idea
Yeah,
was
in
that?
the chat. So, but what I want to do is go in here and give it a good shuffle. And for Kelly, who did, she said card number 1. So 1 is
I
a
thought she said 3.
No, Kelly said one.
Oh,
And let me just make sure in the chat. Let me see if I can go back up that far. If Kelly is still here, could you repeat it? Because there has been a lot of, oh no, she said, Kelly Lee said card three number, please. Now, I don't know who said card number one, why I thought that.
I didn't hear the number one. Maybe.
Oh, well, hey, okay, card number three. So that's the one that I'm just seeing as most recent. Okay, the moderator Tanya says it was three. So thank you for that, Bessie. Let me
Yes, everybody take a good
activated
old
by
deep breath.
your divine
Love and
feminine seven showing up. That's unbelievable.
light.
All
No,
right.
it's not unbelievable.
Well,
That's just
right. It's amazingly confirming.
yes, divine.
Okay. Oh, wow. So this is from pile number three. Let's see here. I'm trying to switch over between my views. We've got, wow. First, we've got inspiration. We've
Look
got
at
the
those colors.
peacock feathers. All the colors of the rainbow are here in this card. We've got the yellows, the red, the orange, the blue, and it says, insights and inspiration can flow in when we relax and allow a playful, unhurried frame of mind. The best ideas come naturally,
Mm.
right?
Inspiration, and this is inspiration.
Mm. And on the bottom of the deck, this is hilarious.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Hmm.
It is much easier to enjoy yourself when you are not thinking about yourself. To be happier, practice engaging with life in a spirit of wholehearted, immersive play. Mm.
Let
I
the
mean, look at that. She was sitting at the top of the mountain, right, with outstretched in the Three of Wands, right? We're
yeah.
outstretched to the solar activation, open to receive the shining light of the
Not also,
sun.
also this one.
Yes, right? Oh, and look at the dolphins at the top. There's
Oh,
our
oh
Pleiadian,
yeah.
Lemurian, and Atlantean connection of three again, right? But yeah, like our happiness, how I feel is more important than how I look.
Mm-hmm.
It's much easier to enjoy yourself when you are not thinking about yourself. To be happier, practice engaging with life in a spirit of wholehearted, immersive play. I mean, we started out with the Find Your Happy deck as the way to show us what we needed to talk about today.
Yep.
Right? Finding our happy through this journey and through this activation. This absolutely has been very fun for me. So I am so excited to see from the happy vibes that I have from this experience today, what is going to be activated in me. And as anyone puts a comment in here, we've got Goddess Ladybug, Tiffany. I mean, it's
Hey,
so many
goddess.
comments right in here that I will have to go through these after the fact. This is really exciting and been very energetic. Um, Beautiful.
Very
Going
nice. I
up.
wish I could see, I can't see the chat, so I'll be reading it afterwards. But it's good to know that people are feeling, feeling that energy, that they're receiving it. And yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. There is light here. There is love here.
Absolutely. And above your head, your light is shining just perfectly
Ah,
as a little orb, right? Yes. So I just thank you, Soul Whisperer, for
oh,
coming to play with me today in spirit and to be willing to be a vessel to be willing to do things in a new way in
I
this.
am always ready, willing, and able to talk about this journey, to talk about where we're going, to talk about how we get there, and to talk about who we're going with, because it's going to be important to have, have that community and have that feeling of connectedness with people, to know, to reflect to you who you are. So for me, it's an honor to be with you, the loving vessel, the beautiful Libran spirit of, love and always giving to others is instructive for me, who tends to be, what about me first, but in a good way.
Right.
And so I feel quite an honor and I feel delighted. And I feel for me, it's been me challenging myself to, as I say, step up and open that new road, that first card you got, opening the way to a new road or allowing yourself to go down that new road. Yeah, I feel that I'm doing that. So
I'm
thank you.
glad that neither of us had to be chased by a cougar
Ooh,
in order for this to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
yeah.
would rather have an experience of willingly moving into new instead of having to be trying to get my ass out of hot water. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
this,
well, I've been there enough. It's not like I'm talking from a lofty perch because my ass has been in hot water. That's how I could even grow to get to some new place because I've been there, done that,
right?
bought the t-shirt,
Right.
for
So
that.
we got the sticker. So
Yeah.
well, so those of you, please check out Soul Whisperer on YouTube. I'll put the link in this description after everything finishes processing. And what's your IG handle again? Is it
Soul
999?
Whisperer.
Okay, there's no 999 on. I get
Oh,
confused.
no. Here on YouTube, it's just Soul Whisperer.
Okay, and
Yeah.
on Instagram as well.
Soul Whisperer 999 on
Okay,
Instagram.
I thought there was one that was a 999, and so that's interesting. We're going to come back with the nines, but we are going
Oh,
to
that's my number.
we're going
Yeah.
to take a break and take a rest later today, take some time out to go ahead and process this download. And of course, if you follow me, the Viberarian, on Instagram and Facebook, and share this message later with your friends and those who you
Definitely.
know need their soul whispered to and need that
Ooh,
activation today from the
yeah.
messages that we have brought forth. And to everyone in the chat, thank you so much. We will get back with all of you in the comments going forward. And thank you for your positive energy today. It was such a high vibe chat room,
Well,
beautiful energy.
truthfully, I really don't expect less.
Of
I,
course, of course. So
I
that's
don't.
beautiful. And
Yeah.
what do you have? Got Kelly Lee, Goddess Ladybug, Lotus Flower Bomb, Ryan Munch. Thank you for joining. He said thanks to both of you felt and received. I am
Oh, hi,
yeah, Nuke Pooji, Tanya and Jackie, Munch from Arizona. We got folks from everywhere that are logged in, and I think there are about 14 people right now. People have been popping in and out. So thank you to each of you. I know I absolutely see and honor the light in each of you. And namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
All right, let me see if I can manage to end this stream.
Thank you guys.
Love you all.